John, good to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year
Uh,
to you as well, my friend. Great to see you.
we've been talking a lot in the last few days, a great deal at all sorts of weird hours, about this fantastic race, the 80th edition of the Hobart. And I said as our wrap in back Caddy Media, one for the ages, because I think it really was. It was lovely to have a small boat race. We both agreed that was something special. It's not common. And while people argue that it'll never happen again, well, here it is. It's happened. And it's 11 years since Wild Rose won in the last small race. And like that race, this one has a lot of small boats in the top 10.
And a fairly
And
wide spread of the type of craft, of small craft.
exactly,
There was
yeah.
some old ones and some new ones. And I think that also is a really wonderful thing to see as well.
Yeah, exactly. So you had Crux, Midnight Rambler, then the latest Sunfasts and other things all in the same thing. And then Love and War. Love and War is always in the picture there. So absolutely amazing. Veteran. But what a result for the double-handers. Inevitably, though, with the win of a double-hander in IRC overall, all of those conversations that go circling around on social media and everywhere else about the parity between double-handers and the fully crewed had us chasing back to see a few people. And we both spoke to people on both sides of that, double-handers and the fully crewed, to see what they had to say about it. And I think we can safely say that everybody we spoke to certainly said double handing's brilliant. It's wonderful. It's a great part of the race. We're really happy with it. Pretty much everyone we spoke to said double handers should be able to win IRC overall as well. But when you and I were talking about it, your view was it was less about sort of the parity issues that they're trying to manage and so on, and possibly more about the division piece. Tell us a bit about your thinking on that one.
Well, yes, I think for me, if you're in a situation where a particular format, i.e., the two-handers, can take two bites of the cherry and that excludes the others, then I think that becomes unfair. And I've spoken to a lot of people on both sides, fully crewed and short-handed, and everybody says, let's just make it fair. If you're racing crewed, you race in Division 1, 2, or 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you're two-handed, guess what? There's a division for you, so you win that. And then I think it's really wonderful because no matter whether you're racing two-handed or crewed, if you show up with the same boat, you can both win your division. And then, of course, as we always know, it's up to Huey then to decide who wins. But it's a game on, and if you win your division and you're ahead of a crewed boat, or the crewed boat's ahead of a two-handed, well, so be. But at least you've won your division and you've done all you can.
Yeah, and I think that resonated. I was talking to Ed Psaltis, um, who interestingly said, "Look, I love double handing. It's absolutely brilliant. Frankly, if I can't beat them, I'm going to join them. I might even do one myself." And so, what you were sort of saying is, yeah, in the end, you can never get that absolute parity between the boats. And I think interestingly, I spoke to Lincoln Dews, who's an extremely experienced double hander, and he was saying, yes, of course, people say there's much less weight you're carrying around, etc. He said, but practically you can't work out a system that's going to make the evenness between the difficulties you have. So for the shorthanders, they can't have five strategies, nav strategies, because they won't have the time down below to talk that over. If you're fully crewed, you can. So it's a binary thing. We've got A or B. When they're tired and more tired than most, it's very hard for them to make good decisions. Lincoln said that's, one of the pieces of double handing. You can't make the sail changes, etc., etc. So there are arguments on both sides, and I don't think that, it's a bit reductive, I think, probably to try and say we'll get an outcome of that. But the division thing, I think your point is going, that takes that argument out of it a little bit, doesn't it?
I think that's exactly the case. And it also then allows for the generational aspect that you and I have also been talking about. Yeah, and I think this is the thing is that if you've got people who've invested, and again, it doesn't matter whether it's for a two-handed scenario or whether it's for a crewed event, if they've invested in the latest equipment and all the rest of it, then they can only go out and win their one division, whether that's crewed or the two-handed. But if you've got these generational things, like we all saw that how close they were when they were on the breeze, and I'm sure all of them weren't exactly looking forward to a third night on the breeze, so we're quite happy
Absolutely
to,
not.
to see it come back around behind the beam. And then, of course, you see the wider twin rudder boats, from brilliant offices like the Lombard Design Office and Manoir. I think you're going to see a lot more of this generational change. And then that means that with the bands, they'll be playing in different divisions anyway. So if the and again, of course, you saw an S&S still almost in the podium
Good
finish.
old Crux. That certainly would have been one for the ages.
That would have been the absolute right. Now riddle me that one, Batman. But I think this is what we're going to see, and this is a really good way to remove so many of these conversations out of the conversation, because we
Yeah,
don't need these
exactly.
conversations. We need
Yeah.
let's go racing conversations, and I think we can do that, and it'd be really great. And it's a really simple stroke of the pen. If you're that, you race that, and if you're that, you race that. And you don't even have to have a discussion about the time correction correlation bands, because you'll land wherever you land,
Yeah.
and it's up to
And
you. You've still got to win your division.
yeah, and I suppose it comes down to that same next question, which keeps coming back again, of course, is what happens now with foils. We saw Palm Beach 11, looking to take foils on a race which in theory doesn't take foils. And we're seeing all of the, first 30s and so on coming forward. So they're going to come. That's going to happen, isn't it? It's going to be the same set of arguments, isn't it, really?
Well, look at the mini transats blasting across. I mean, anybody wants to go across the Atlantic in a bathtub, my God, good luck to them. But wow, when they're up on foils and they're gone. So, and my mate Ben Kelly would absolutely clip me over the back of the head if I didn't say multi-hulls in the same discussion.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's probably a better discussion to be getting into, and not one about this crude shorthand. It's like, are we eventually going to open it up for everybody like every other race? And that's probably the discussion. But
Okay.
that's one for the CY and not me.
Indeed, we're not charged with sorting this out. We can just have a discussion about it. Very interested to hear what people say at the end of this as well. But thanks, John. That's good, and we'll catch up soon.
And obviously a great 2026 for everybody who's listening.